Yeah, yeah, this okay.
All good. Okay, hello YouTube. We are live on YouTube, just going live on Veroni in a second, and then I'll introduce you to the guest. Okay. Hello, namaste, and welcome back to Disha in Australia. We are going live on Veroni as well as on YouTube right now. Before starting, I'd quickly like to acknowledge the country. So, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Nanwal and Nagamri people, and we pay respect to the elders past and present. We acknowledge that the land was never ceded, and this was and always will be Aboriginal land. All right, welcome aboard. How are you feeling, Sumit, today?
Awesome as well. Thanks for asking.
That's good. That's amazing. So, to introduce, today we have Sumit Nag on board with us, who is a Maitri scholar, and we are discussing about Maitri scholarship. So, before we begin, I'd like to give it to Sumit to introduce himself.
So, hi guys. Namaste. Good evening to everyone. Specifically, good evening to all Australians here. So, I am Sumit. So, I am doing my PhD at RSC Research School of Chemistry at ANU. I started my PhD journey last year, November 2024, and I am like one of the Maitri scholar from the like starting 4 or 5 student we were selected. I'm one of that student. I did my master's and bachelor's from India, from Indian Institute of Science, Education Research, Bhopal, and then I came here for my PhD. I have applied for other places also and got offer from USA and Europe. But then, because of this, I will say honestly, because of this Maitri scholarship, I have chosen Australia for my PhD journey. Remaining things in detail, I will answer in this podcast as Disha asked me the questions. Hope I will clear all the doubts. Whoever, like, whatever doubts you are facing, if you want to apply now, like good thing is like its applications are open now, so you can apply. So we will discuss the details whatever are required. So let's begin.
Awesome. So, before we begin, can you give us an introduction about Maitri scholarship? What exactly is it? What does the word Maitri means? I hope people know that, but still.
Okay, so like if I start with the word, so specifically Maitri means friendship. So somehow like the people of Australia and India, they are making some good initiatives to make good relation between these two countries. Like either it's related to academics, industry, arts, culture, whole over domain. From the past 50 years, they are trying already from the arts and culture, but now they are moving ahead by doing more things. Like they are encouraging STEM field more. So they this is scholarship is specifically for STEM field. So if your motto, like suppose research is somewhat related to sustainability, green future, carbon neutrality, something like that. So Maitri gonna fund your whole PhD journey, everything, like either it's your AFA, visa fee, whatever it's required for you to translocate from India to Australia, everything will be covered in this fellowship. Only requirement is this, like you should be the citizen of India and doing your masters, like you have completed your masters and want to go for PhD and you have already shortlisted in any university. Because the thing is this scholarship will be submitted by the university. So if I explain in simply, you have to mail a professor in which profile you are interested and you want to do research in his lab. Then that professor will take your interview and all, then they will ask you to fill the university application form for PhD. You will fill that and all. If university then like suppose 100 students have applied for PhD, then from them if 100 of students want to apply for Maitri, university will select some of them. Suppose ANU will select hardly 10 and 15 and they will forward those application to the center. Like there will be second round of shortlisting and they will then like every university in Australia like Melbourne, Sydney and ANU, they will get a lot of application. After that they will shortlist further student, and after like there will be official announcement in Feb or maybe March, and you get the fellowship. Then everything like will be smooth, like your visa and offer letter, everything will start. So if you get this fellowship, the plus point is like you don't have to pay any single amount from you. Even like your temporary accommodation, everything will be covered. Best part of this fellowship, if I explain now, is like that if you want to travel in any country, or if you want to do internship, or if you want to join in any conference which is very important to your field, or you want to make some connections there, so Maitri has a very big amount for that, and they support your all the studies related and you have required in that 3 or 4 year of tenure. I hope I have answered so many things. So I will answer again as you ask me the further questions.
Okay. No, that's really good. That's a really good start about Maitri. So my question is also a question. for students who are currently in their bachelor's degree. So, like me, a lot of other students would be graduating with a bachelor's degree this year. So, when can we start preparing for Med 3 if we are students who are interested in research and our students who are currently onshore in Australia are eligible for this program or not?
Yeah, like first confusion is that are you eligible for not if you are onshore? So you are eligible, don't worry. Only main eligibility criteria is that you must be Indian citizen, that you already are. So like suppose if you just completed your undergrad studies or masters, you will have to wait for the session. Usually every year the Maitri application form session starts around September to August, and it ends up sometimes November and December end, or like last time it went up to January. So you just have to, what do you have to do? Suppose you want to apply in this session, suppose, right? So you have to start mail professors in all universities. Suppose you have some professors in ANU or some in Sydney, in which lab or their research you are interested. So you have to mail them, not regarding Maitri, you just have to mail them first regarding PhD, that whatever you have interest, like, sir, this is my academic qualification and excellence and I want to pursue a PhD in your lab and all. If they take your interview and all, and they finalize that they are going to take you or hire you, then they will tell you that you have to apply for this scholarship, you have to fill your details and all, and then you will fill the like PhD application form of that university. Then university will forward your application, so you can't directly apply for the scholarship from yourself. University will forward your application. So doesn't matter if you are onshore or offshore, if you have to apply, you just have to be on time. First criteria is contact professors and take your interview done by, like, I will suggest start mailing professor in July. Wherever you want to apply, either you want to apply in USA, Europe countries or Australia, start mailing in July, June, July, and you will get start responses around August and all. Then if you get finalized, like, yes, you want to choose this professor, then, like, first of all ask him, like, if there any specific scholarship which I want to apply, because many times they already say that we want to take you, but we don't have funds. This is the main problem PhD student. For So for all Indian students, don't worry. If you any professor say to you in Australia that they don't have funds for your PhD funding, just directly say, if I can apply for the Maitri scholarship and you please will you support me. Then they will, like, forward their details, your details, to the, like, department manager who is handling all the scholarship and all. Then the process will be smooth, they will handle the things remaining. So only you have to first shortlist your professor in which, under which you want to do your PhD studies, and then remaining things will be very simple.
Okay. So, as I'm listening, because I remember you mentioning that it's Metri is also open for masters. So, is it, or how does that master's process work, if you know? And also, is Metri only to study in Australia, or through Metri you can also go study in Europe or US or any other country?
Okay, so the thing is, like, when they started Maitri scholarship, there are three types of funding there. First is like for PhD students. This is Maitri scholarship, and sorry, last year when they started, they also funded Maitri master students. So, like, in Maitri, those research masters are like masters by research. If you choose masters by research, then whole the funding will be given by Maitri, and the stipend will be less than the PhD student, but it will be like, I think, adjust, like, it depends. Every year the stipend varies little bit. It depends on the funding and budget. So you will get whole funding, like your university fees first of all, which is very important. Then your, like, whole translocation fees, and then plus some stipend you will get in the master. But you have to check. The thing is, like, some things are very dynamic. They change very little things every year. So every year they have very different possibilities, but is still, yes, there's a chances of applying for masters also. And the third type is like grant. Suppose there's any professor or a postdoc student in India and they want to, like, or they are already onshore, they want to apply for the funding and they have some project specifically to the aligning with the motto, they can apply. So basically there are three types of scholarship there they have started. Majority of them are like for PhD funding. But if you see the websites of Maitri, you will see like Maitri Fellow Scholarship and the people who got the grants, many different, like they are from different fields like arts, culture, and all. So it's very from different fields. And now the question you asked, like, will Maitri support your studies if you want to go abroad from Australia? So the thing is, Maitri is for your studies, higher studies at Australia. But suppose in the duration of your studies, I'm specifically talking about the PhD one because I have had all the details about that. For masters, actually the tenure is very short, around I guess 1.5 or 2 years. So I don't think they will support a lot. But in PhD, they will provide you specific amount of fund which will support your studies if you want to do any internship abroad. during your PhD, or national also, like in Australia, everywhere, in any industry, if you want to do, or maybe if you want to learn some course. Suppose if I talk about chemistry, suppose there's some simulations things which I want to learn, and this is only like possible and available at like Max Planck or some university. I want to go there, because this is very important skill in my area and my project. So they will fund, and you can go spend 2 months, 3 months, whatever the time is required. This thing will depend on the discussion with your supervisor, who will guide and approve everything. So you will have the very good opportunity. Like sometime what happens, people are doing PhD and like they don't have any scope. Like, hey, we don't have any contacts, neither we have like communication, networking. So the Maitri, the beautiful thing of Maitri fellowship is like they organize time to time some events, and these events usually people in Australia, maybe sometimes from abroad, they are from industry, some arts field, some background, and some are from there like diplomats, people, politics, and all. So they organize these meetings so that people can like engage with them. They make networks. They can understand. Suppose a person who is doing some PhD in academics, he will not able to understand how the work going on in industry. If you want to switch after PhD to industry, it will be very tough for him. So in these types of events, if you get into contact with someone who is doing something type of research like you in industry, it will be a good opportunity to ask if I can get some internship and all, something like that. It will be a plus point, and the plus point is like that you don't have to spend anything. Metri will cover your fund, either you are doing to like internship or maybe some workshop or whatever it is. So very plus point, this is like, this is the like beautiful part of this scholarship.
Okay. No, that's very good information. So I would like to ask from the whole process of you getting into the program. So please tell us about how you found out this opportunity, how you started it, what made you different from other peers who were also applying for the same program, getting into ANU, how the scholarship was applied, accommodation, flights, visa, everything. So, from your journey, from starting when you saw what is Maitri to being a Maitri scholar.
Okay, so thank you, Disha, for asking this. I think this will cover a lot of questions here.
Yeah.
So the thing is,
In
yeah, yeah,
sorry, in between you can also add like for people who have already been in the process.
okay.
So like people who are already onshore and what would be their starting
Okay,
point.
sure, sure.
So both of them.
So first of all, I will start with the mailing. This is the perfect time. It's already October. You are not late, but I will say start soon. The thing is like first step for everyone, either you are offshore or onshore, you have to mail professor.
Hmm.
First, you have to ask them that I am like this and I have to provide my CV and all, explain your academic excellence and everything.
How do
Explain
you find those professors?
that you have to search from the department. There's a very, in PhD application, most difficult thing is like searching professor. If I say my, suppose my topic is carbon dioxide reduction, this is my topic. So when I am doing my masters, I read many papers. When you read good papers and you got to know like, okay, this lab in this country and this university are doing something specific, these types of research, then you go to this university, explore their web page, and suppose, and this is one way. Second, suppose you get one professor and then you open their Google Scholar is like a academic profile of a any person throughout the world in any field, where they publish their papers and all, everything. From there you will get the idea who are involved in this fellow like papers and all. You open the Google Scholar of one person, then you will see many on the right hand side, co-authors and all, and the collaboration some name. So if you search one professor, you will get many professor on the right. It's like Instagram user.
Hmm.
So if you search someone, you will get some mutual people there, or some related to like people like that, and LinkedIn, something like that. So you will get someone related people who are working in that field, then you start exploring them.
Sorry, which website was that?
It's like
Sorry.
Google Scholar.
Oh,
It's
Google
for,
Scholar.
yes, Google Scholar.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so it's for like academics people. And one thing is like, this is the one way. Second, there is like traditional one, like you have to go first of all shortlist your university. Suppose if you want to do PhD in Australia, you have shortlisted like, I will do in only these four university, either Sydney, Melbourne, ANU, or maybe Monash. You have shortlisted this. I have only this choice, otherwise I will go outside. After shortlisting university, you have to explore their department, go one by one professor, check their profile, their homepage, what the research is going on and all. This is the very time taking thing. That's why I said start as much as possible, as early as possible. Means when you are doing your masters, means you know in which field you want to do your PhD. At that time, start shortlisting your university, start shortlisting your like professors, because it's a very time taking, because you don't know. Many of my friends are there who almost mailed 200 people and they got only two response. And recently, like one of my friend who is still at ANU and just transferred from here, he wrote around 800 mails. So there are
Wow.
some like sometimes it's very
It's
frustrating.
like job hunt.
Exactly, it's same thing. PhD is like a job. So important thing is you, and if you want to mail someone, you should have the content data, like to whom I should mail. So that's why you should start as early as possible to shortlist your professors, your university, your dream country. Then after shortlisting, you have to explore scholarship. It's for everyone. Like for specifically Australia, it's Maitri. So if you are onshore or offshore, doesn't matter, just mail. And when if professor is interested, they will mail you back, they will take you interview and all. After this step, either it's same for everyone, offshore and onshore, everything. Now they will ask you like how you want to apply and all. If they don't ask, you just directly can ask which type of fellowship you are going to get, something like that. In maximum case, student gets university fellowship. Okay, but you can ask if you are an Indian student, like, sir, I want to apply for this fellowship. The only criteria is like that you should be the Indian citizen and all. And then they will talk to their, like every university has their department in which one person who is like handling all this scholarship industry relations and all. So they will guide you how to do from there. You don't have to worry anything, they will guide you step by step by. So you don't, you just have to clear this path, clear the interview of professor. If they select you, then they will do everything smoothly. You just have to follow them, that's it. So after interview and all, they will ask you to fill the university PhD application form. If when you fill them, if they nominate your name for like Maitri, they will forward your application to the center. And from the center, after like couple of months, usually they officially announce around May, around April, but you will get the information around, I guess, March. So after that, then university will provide you the offer letter and COE, confirmation of enrollment. From that you can apply for visa and then tickets. So like visa and tickets, everything will be covered by Metri. So they have a specific funds. Those funds I can't tell the specific amount because every year it's very dynamic. Some funds according to budget, it's
Did
changed
you get
little
a
bit.
business ticket?
No, it's not possible.
Okay.
Nowhere in like in the world, nobody provides business ticket. It's not like business tickets. It's like
Okay, now we know the
luxurious.
funds then.
Yeah. So you can travel by economy, but those will be like awesome. You don't have to worry. So everything will be covered, your visa fee and all, even your temporary accommodation. So after this, like it's everything smooth if you get shortlisted. And one plus point, suppose if you want to like increase the chances of getting selected, so try to articulate your words, your essay, whichever will be required, because you have to submit a research proposal. So that research proposal will be like designed by you with the discussion and guidance of your supervisor. So try to articulate your things in a like very you sometimes you have to say like articulate the things according to the viewer's choice, right? So like you have to read the website properly, what are their mottos. So their main target is like somewhat carbon neutrality, sustainability, green future, green fuel, something like that. So there will be questions like that, how you think your PhD gonna improve the relation between India and Australia. These types of 3 or 4 questions will be there. And why do you choose Australia and all this? These are very simple things. Just answer honestly, whatever you feel. Don't use ChatGPT for the full content. First, use your thoughts, right? First, use your thought. Then you can modify it, draft it nicely. If you start looking others' life from others' window, it will be tough for you to articulate your words. So first draft your words, then modify using AI tools if you want. So that process is not very tough. The better you can explain your things. And suppose as she asked how you increase the chances, like in my case, I had some international internships also and some master's project. So my master's project was very good, like in my field it was very good. I was able to explain in the presentation that what I am doing, why I am doing, like how I started this project, what was my skills, like what I learned from this project, everything in detail. If you are able to explain everything in detail, like your professor will also give good record for yourself, right? These are the like main points in which gonna. And in my case, like my master project was also same CO2 reduction, only pathway was different, and same is the PhD project. So somehow I say it like strong point for my like journey, because they, even my internship was also related to somewhat something like that. So that's why these are the main points which are very like important for yours, like to get selected for this fellowship. Because remaining steps are like after submitting, you have to do nothing. They will guide you at every step. And after getting selected, you they will guide you when you have to come at different like entry, like either is August and October. I started last year in November, but some of my friends, they were already at onshore, so they have started already. But then when they got the scholarship, they just started this scholarship and all, and they continued their PhD studies. And now like when we have any event, like recently I joined an event at Melbourne, so we all Maitri scholars met, and then we discuss how their studies and research is going on. We also like try to make some collaboration if our field is same. So that's a very good thing, because we have a plan of making something, like make some startup or something like that. Suppose you are 3 people who are getting selected in Maitri, all 3 have different funds, right? Suppose you three have a common idea and you want to like execute that idea, so see, you already have funds, so it's a very good opportunity for like everyone. Doesn't matter whatever your background is.
Hmm. No, that's really good. So,
Yeah,
the funds that you're saying to start a startup idea, is that the same fund that you're given for the internship and other opportunities?
yeah. So
Okay.
it, amount may be varying every year, I'm not sure. So but like even if you share your ideas, and the
Hmm.
thing is like if they can't help you, but they will manage the ways you can do, because in the journey you will meet many people who are interested in your field. Definitely they will help you. It's not like that I'm saying someone directly will pay you something like that. Maybe it's not possible for some, for an individual, but they can arrange things.
Hmm.
Maybe you can met your goals.
Yeah, no, that's really nice. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Um, so one thing that, as listeners and as someone asking, just to clarify, so once you get your thing sorted with your interviews with your professor and you have a research project, you don't need to specifically go to Maitri website to
No, no, no.
apply. You will just tell the professor that this is the scholarship
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
looking at, and if there's a way you can pass it to the scholarship
Yeah,
teams on
exactly.
campus.
So like the thing is, even if you don't have to tell your professor. Maybe if any professor is new, they will not know about this, so then you can ask. But usually people know about this fellowship, they will encourage you. Why? Because if you are getting Maitri, then professors will also get some like super advisory for funds. Even university gets some funds, so it's a benefit for university also. So they motivate you, like they will ask you to apply for this fellowship if possible. And like getting a, suppose if you are doing PhD in wherever it is, like either it's Europe countries, USA and all. In USA maximum everywhere there's no specific scholarship, everyone get university funding. But if you get funding like that in any country, if you get a government funding, other scholarship from university, it has their own perks. Either it's in Europe country, like Marie Curie is there. For Oxford and Cambridge, like Rhodes is there. So they have their own perks. But if you are getting any good scholarship other than university fellowship in any country, you should go for that. I think in maximum case they have more perks comparison to university one.
Mm.
Journey is same, both have to do the PhD. Struggle is same, but I will say some sort of extra perks will be there, whatever it is.
Now I'd like to ask, what are some common mistakes people do? And as someone who got selected into Maitri scholarship, did you identify what were the things that other people lacked that didn't get them the scholarship?
Yeah, if I talk about specifically for the PhD, so what common mistake many people do, suppose in the PhD when you apply in any university, you have to submit, I guess, three recommendation letters, somewhere two, somewhere three. So if someone is applying 10 places, so they always keep constant 10 people. Like suppose they have done internship under two professors, so they will provide the recommendation from those two professors in all universities. What happens sometime, I'm not saying for all professors, but sometime your professor said, yeah, I will give reco, but they will give you an average reco, and you don't know. So it's a, like I will say, drawback. What I suggest to my juniors, I also did, you should always have a 4 or 5 option, and you just make like combinations. These three here, these three here, these three here. So if you like juggle this way, suppose if someone is giving average, so somehow they will get compensate. And if you keep constant those two or three people to keep constant everywhere, so if suppose two of them gives very neutral and common record, then it will be hard for you to get selected out. So that's why always juggle, like like if you have 3 or 4 people, suppose these two you give here, second third give here, one four give here. So this will be one point. Second, when you are making your CV and writing an email, so I will say, read first about the professor, their work, what they are doing. Try to read at least two or three their recent published paper, what they are actually doing. What people used to do, they just go on their website and just say the name and then put in chat GPT and just write a mail. But because many of my friends did this and they got an email from the professor like, don't do this, don't exactly copy. Because like students think that people professor don't have software, but I will say you, throughout the world, whole globe, professor have their own software. They will easily tackle out how you are writing the email. So they will not even read your email if you feel something like that. And it's an experience. From my experience, I have I think I have read almost 500 plus CVs. So I have an idea now if you have wrote your CV from like a mail or CV from ChatGPT or not. So like professors are more than me, like almost daily 50 100 people mail them, so it's very easy for them. The third common mistake is like that they don't have any internship experience in their bachelor's and masters. and they also, their master project is like they are not able to do enough amount of work to explain for their motivation letter on SOP. So this is like you have to plan earlier accordingly. So if you are in your bachelor's in any background, try to do any internships regarding that similar field, so it will like show you your interest, like I have this interest, and it's also make your CV smooth, like strong. Like in my case, I get my tax fellowship for an internship with Canada, so somehow it make strong my profile. And also I have done some internship in India also in other professors lab. And also the project you are choosing, if somehow you got to know that doing investing 2 years of masters or bachelor under a specific lab, you can get a paper, try to get that paper. I know many university will say we will not judge you on paper, but if you have a paper, already published paper, your chances of getting selected is more.
Mm.
So when you are writing an email, don't get totally like very much like grateful and all, and not too much adjective. Simple, like I am like Sumit, and this is my like profile, like I'm from this university. I just recently saw your web page and I'm interested in this field. For the past long time I'm applying, like studying on this area, and I want to explore this field. If you have any like, specific idea, like a position for PhD and all, I will really happy to discuss with you. And then attach your CV, attach your SOP if you want, and transcript. That's it. Don't exaggerate too many things in your email. Suppose you wrote a mail of around more than 2000 words, who gonna read that mail, man? Hardly a CV get around 30 seconds. So if you read so many things in CV, who will read this,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
this silly mistakes like writing too many things in email. And if you're writing, even if you're writing, try to like organize it accordingly. There's a format of writing in email, so those things you have to work. Otherwise, and sometimes it's frustrating, you have to like mail a lot of people. So I think if I explain step by step, it will be a very long video. Yeah, specifically because there's are many small errors. Like if you are mailing in any university, so at a time mail only one professor. Don't mail two or three professor at a time in any department. What happen if they are friends and they are talking? And it happened. It's my personal experience. My friend mailed in Germany, and they mailed a professor. First one said yes, and he also mailed second one, because obviously you will apply to many places. What happened? They talk, and then that person who selected him, he mailed him like it's very bad professionally, you should not do this. If you are mailing to me and writing that you are interested in my field, and you are also writing the same thing to other professor, and they rejected their offer. And it's a very normal. So I always suggest in any university, take a gap. Suppose you write a mail today, take a gap of 1 week. After 4 days, just put a reminder like, please, like if I get to know if there's any inquiry or that's it. If you don't get any response after one mail, you can tackle the second email to another person. It's
Mm.
not a bad idea, so but it's a very silly mistake.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a very good point that you have mentioned in
Yeah.
that. I'd like to follow up on the recommendations. So are recommendations supposed to be from your professors only, or they can also be at places that you have worked in your field? Maybe it could be a job that you have done in your field or an internship that you have done in your field, but it's not research. It's more like applying into practical exposure. So can you get recommendations
Yeah.
from your supervisors there?
Yeah, specifically if I point for natural science people, either it's from whatever background it is, physics, chemistry, maths, biology, and whatever it is. If you are giving your recommendation, try to give those recommendation under whom you have worked. Because you know what recommendation they give. Suppose if someone get the recommendation, there are some questions like how you know these people, for how long you know this student, why you are giving recommendation to him, like what work you did under him, you something like that. There are many questions, every form has different form. So if you just someone take your course and you just ask a recommendation, they will say yes, but they will feel it very neutral, like yeah, I just knew him because he took my course and blah blah blah. So I always suggest, if you have chance, like you have done an internship, try to get reco from there. And the main recommended, like the main person who will be common in every email will be your master's supervisor, because that person you will spend around, I guess, 9 months or 12 months. So that will be the main person who will give reco in almost every application. Apart from them, you will get two from internships and one and two from course, like where you got highest score, like something like A plus, and you know them personally mean to say like you ask a lot of doubts and something like that, so they know you by face. So like sort of like personal touch. So it happens, like if they know you personally, they will see like right in their form, like his attitude is good and he's very curious student, something like that. So it's a very good way. So the thing is, wherever you are applying for PhD, PhD is very different for cracking an exam, because in cracking an exam you need overall questions right, or 100 out of 90, something like that. But in PhD, it's like a pie. So some percentage go to your transcript, how much you are scoring, like from 10 CPI, something like that. Some percentage go to your recommendation letters. Some percentage goes to like how you organize your things. Your SOP matters a lot, your motivation letters, your CV, all these things. And last is like very least, I will say, extracurricular. Sometimes it play a very major role, specifically in countries like USA, because it started from USA, this culture. There's a story why they started this way, because past hundred of years ago they started to take they used to take the PhD admission like giving exams. But then they shifted because Jews are very intelligent, so always like Jews used to crack those exams for MIT, Harvard and all. Then they got to worry like, oh man, only Jews are coming here, because Jews are really very smart. You will say 90% or 80% Nobel laureates are Jews. And currently like Nobel laureates going on this year Nobel prize, you can see. But then they started this thing like, we will do interviews, we will separate this thing, and we will take personal interviews, how they are thinking about this, and they will shortly in that way they started to take and hire some Americans also and all. So I'm not demotivating you or something negative. It's like how they started this culture. So in USA they definitely see your extracurricular activity also, like any sports person or something like that.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense, and that is something that is very beneficial as well. So we discussed that Maitri is only for Australia, and you did mention about two, three scholarships in Europe, US, and UK. Can you compare those scholarships with Maitri?
Uh, the thing is, I can't compare them on the behalf of funds, because different country has their different expenditure. If I talk about like popular one tools are like Rhodes and Marie Curie are there. They are very old, like I guess a lot of years, a lot of
Yeah,
decades.
everyone
So
knows Rhodes
everyone knows
Scholarship.
them,
Yeah.
Rhodes and like Marie Curie. So I will not say this one is very best, this one is very bad, something like that, because they have their own perks and they are specifically organized in this way. Like Marie Curie is for like European countries and all, something Israel and all, and Rhodes is for Oxford and other, something like that. Maitri is for like Indian scholarship. What I will say, the perks, like what benefits you are getting on that behalf, I can compare. If I compare, I have like, I will honestly like, I can't say like, because the thing is Marie Curie also, it's a very good fellowship. Why? In Marie Curie you will get opportunity to do your PhD in three different labs in three different places or university. They should be like related to, but I'm not saying it's negative, but sometime it's, I think for a PhD journey you should invest your lot of time at a place similar, like at one place invest. For some fields it's good, if you are getting Marie Curie you are getting an exposure of three different labs, but not for all. So if I talk about perks, I will keep like Maitri one, and then like Marie Curie second, almost comparable. It will not be like that Marie Curie, because Marie Curie is very reputed one.
Yeah.
It's also fund like postdoc students and all. So we can't compare Marie Curie with Maitri. Maitri is very new and specifically for Indian. So those are very different things. But I will say those are very best. If you are getting Marie Curie or Maitri, I will suggest go for Maitri. The reason is that like it depends on your background. If I have gotten like Marie Curie and Maitri, I have chosen Maitri still, because my dream country was Australia, not Europe.
Hmm.
So many things matter when you are choosing for your PhD, and also the professor under whom I am working right now, it also matters, his field. So in Marie Curie, it's not like that you will always get your good professors, like in the sense ki your field best professor. But in Maitri, you can choose your own professor and just start your work.
That's a very brief overview
Yeah,
of
like
how different
directly comparison, I will
universities.
say it will be negative, because they have
Yeah.
their own benefits. So we should not compare. I will say try apply both and then see what are your
Hmm.
ideas and intentions, then that's it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'd like to ask your current journey after being a Maitri scholar. So, how is the world to you now?
So like if I talk it was very awesome. Why? Because see, like there was a time when I never thought about PhD and all. I was thinking I
Because
will
you're also a very young PhD student.
yeah, yeah.
Because the first time I met you, you were mentioning I'm the youngest PhD student. I was like,
Yeah, in my lab I'm the youngest, like everyone is like around 29, 30 and something like that. So maximum of in like RSC I saw this, but it's not like everywhere. So like there was a time when I was in my bachelor and master, I was always looking for job. I never thought I will go for PhD and all, because traditional pathway in India is similar. go for college, and college for job. That's it. Either it's government, either it's private, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's a traditional pathway. But when I went to ISER is a very good research institute in India. There are hardly seven ISERs in India. So I got an opportunity in Canada. When I went there and saw their work-life balance as well as their research ethics, there it's a very lot of like very big difference between India and Canada. Then I thought, no, maybe I am avoiding something because of getting something very quick. So that's why I always suggest everyone, don't be rigid in your career, be flexible. Sometimes we avoid good opportunities just because we are rigid to specific one. So try to be a little bit flexible, maybe something very good waiting for you. So that's why I chose for PhD, going for PhD. Then I apply for USA, Europe countries. And I got offer from like big university, University of Chicago, like this university from USA also. So, but the thing is, they are providing me like a university fellowship, and in USA you have to do the TAship and all. It's mandatory. They are giving stipend for that one, and here there's no TAship. You just focus on your research. That's it. That's a
What's
very big deal.
Disha?
TAship is means like when you are doing your PhD, you have to do the tutorials, and you have to teach and take classes of the undergrad and master students. For like if I'm chemistry, I have to take, and it's mandatory. So that's why like I will say it's one of the reason of not choosing that. And Europe countries like there are 4 or 5 points that I have to mention. Like the thing is, I also have to look like what's the time plan. Like in Europe, maximum place PhD journey is around 3 years, and for me what I understand, like at least 4 years is required for a good in PhD. Different field has their different opinions, like different, like physics has their own opinions, chemistry, math. But for me, I understand like 4 years should be good. Some places like Switzerland, like EPFL, University of Zurich, they have 4 years plan. But many of them in European countries, they offer 3 years of plan, and then fourth year is like extension of around 6 months, 7 months. That's a different thing. And the third thing is like I was getting a government fellowship in Maitri, for Maitri in Australia. So it's a like very different thing. So I discussed with my seniors, my professors, and all, like how this gonna helpful me. They have said like getting a government fellowship in any specific country when you're going for PhD, it's a very plus point for your career. Either you're going for academics or industry. So this is one of the reason. Second reason, the person like my supervisor is one of the like I will say big shot, or like very big professor in my field. So because in your PhD, your university rank will not matter. Only thing is matter your supervisor. Because in when you are in undergrad or masters, only then university ranking matters. Why? Because you have to take the whole course curriculum, placement, statistics, everything. But when you are doing PhD, only thing matters is your lab. You have to see what equipments are there, which type of collaboration is there, how much funding is there, like sort of idea you should have taken. So and then talk some ongoing students of their same lab, or maybe some alumni of the lab, get idea. So like the and the third main reason is choosing Australia is like for a long run I see Australia is like somewhat feasible for me. I'm not saying for others. So there are many things I can't explain in small video, but if I see professionally, these are the main reasons for choosing this one. And also specific like in USA, if you go for PhD, 1.5 year you have to do the coursework again, which you have already done in your
Hmm.
master. And that's a good thing also. Sometimes people are not like they are not very like sure, like should I pursue this or not. So they get exposure of 1.5 year, and then they can decide, okay, I will go with this field. So it's plus points. But in my case, I was like, sure, no, I'm sure with this, I will go with this. So I thought investing a 1.5 year more, I will come here, I will start as soon as possible, and let's see how it will go.
We have last 5 minutes left, so
Okay.
I would like to ask you. So, someone who is planning to get to Maitri scholarship, what are the 5 things they should do from this day onwards?
So first of all, professors, make a list of professors who like in whole over Australia. Like I specifically, if I talk about natural science like physics, chemistry, maths, and biology, the top five universities are like Sydney, ANU, Melbourne, University of Queensland, Monash. So after shortlisting universities, select professors. Sometimes if the ranking is not good, but in that university, some professors lab is very good. They have a very good exposure, international collaboration, and all. You can go with that, but you have to search how you will get the professors. Suppose in the lab where you are doing your masters, ask the seniors, try to search the alumni of that lab where they have went. In that case, if you follow those people, you can mail directly to them, hey, I'm planning to apply here, tell me the something about the lab. And sometimes they are very good, they will directly arrange your meeting with her. It's a very plus thing. If your lab alumni is already there, like just ask like bhaiya, like can you just arrange a meeting and all. It's very like common sometimes. If not, suppose you don't have any alumni in Australia in any other university, so no worries, nothing big in that. Just mail directly, explain, organize your mail and CV very nicely. Never write your mail and CV in one go. If you write in one go, you will have so many flaws in that. Always take your time and try to edit it daily, one by one. One very important thing for everyone, after every application at every university, like review your CV and mail. Is there need to any change it. It's not like that you made one CV, apply everywhere. No, 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 no. Sometimes like you are not getting reply, change it. Maybe something like your CV is not very appealing, maybe you are like bombarded with so many things, maybe like figure it out, something like that. And third important thing is like that, the project which you are explaining, suppose your master project, try to get depth knowledge in that, so that you will, when you will write your research proposal or motivation letter, it will help you a lot more nicely. You articulate your thoughts, your imagination, your ideas on papers, more chances are there to getting selected out. One very important thing, when you are writing your research proposal or maybe answering your some questions regarding to Maitri, always keep in mind you have to answer like that way, that it should match with the mottos of Maitri scholarship. You have to read from the websites and all, somewhat like how your project gonna help building more strong relation between India and Australia. How I answered this question, like I said, like my work is CO2 reduction, which is totally directly related to climate and environment. If I make something fruitful and very important in this area, it will help both the countries to make industries in this field further, or maybe invite further like job opportunities for many. Like I articulate in this way that it will further explain, like help to all industries, like not only for the chemistry, physics, maths, everyone. Job opportunities are there, so that thing you have to figure it out. And last thing, very important thing is like, be patient. Be patient. Many time it will happen, you will get frustrated, oh I'm not getting any reply and all, I will quit this. No, 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 it happens. You are mailing one person at a time, but that person is getting maybe 50 of emails daily, so sometimes stuff. Make some quick ideas, shortcuts is like try to contact. Suppose if you have a dream lab, so don't waste your dream lab. I will very short trick, I'm giving a short trick. If there's a dream lab, if you want to go, don't directly mail them. First do some survey, try to contact in that lab someone, like which type of research is going on, how's the professor mood today, is it traveling or not. It's very important. Sometimes we think like these things are not necessary, but my personal experience, if you already coordinate with them, you know how, like which time will be good for mailing and all. Sometimes if you are traveling, suppose professor is traveling, you mail, and now you are waiting, and you forgot your mail, you kept the reminder, he again forgot, so sometimes they avoid. But if you already talk to someone, they will tell you which type of thing you should mention in your mail. It's like a possibilities, it's increasing your possibility. So always try to be in touch with someone who is already in the lab and someone who already passed out that lab. You will get both the answer, like mixed
Hmm.
of, and then take your call and just go with that. Good luck.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's so much useful advice that you have given and have covered so many different things in the span of just 40 minutes, which is just amazing. Thank you so much, Sumit, for answering all the questions. And I hope people who have tuned in to both Veroni and YouTube must have gotten so much valuable information out of it. Like I personally can assert that this was super insightful for me. And I do really agree to the point of being really flexible when you are studying in your
Yeah.
degree, because when I started my bachelor's, I was like, after honors, I'm just gonna do like a job and go for like counseling or any sort of like psych related behavior practitioner roles and stuff like that. But this year, last semester, I had the opportunity to be a part of a research project which I chased a professor last year in July, and I kept chasing him. And I was like, I really want to do it because I was genuinely interested in his research. And being a second year student, it's not that common for people to just quickly go and jump into research. But I would say I started in July so that I could start my research project in February this year. So even though I am onshore in the university, it still took me so much time for to get everything figured out so I can start a research project. So I definitely do confirm that you need to start really early.
Yeah.
I
As
would freak out if the applications are closing in like a month and I'm starting today. But I feel like where there's a will, there's a way. So if people
yeah.
are still starting, there is a chance that you could do things and you could get stuff, because Sumit is a live example that, if you want something, you get it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
um, when a lot of times applying for 100% scholarship is so daunting because you feel like, am I good enough for that position or not? Or if there are better people who have done more research than me, more experience than me. But sometimes people are just looking for a perfect fit. They're not looking for someone who fits all their boxes. They're looking for just someone who who can just help them with whatever they're finding. They're not looking for a perfect, ideal thing. And so I guess take your shot, take that chance. And at the Shine Australia, I've always said this, that when no one believes in you, you believe in yourself. So good luck to everyone who is in the core applying season across the world. And we wish you all the best for your future endeavors and all the ventures that you're coming with. And thank you so much, Sumit, for all your guidance today. And we hope this was a beneficial session for all.
Yeah, and also I would like to thank you all. Like, thank you so much for inviting me as a guest and like to answer these all questions. Like whoever is having these types of queries. So I hope I have answered so many questions or queries if you have in your mind. All the very best.
Thank you, everyone. I will see you next week. And Sumit is around ANU.
Bye bye.
Okay, thank you.